What are your options if you receive a deportation order from the judge in immigration court after they refuse to grant your asylum claim? Now, to be clear, no one wants to be in this position, right? You fought hard to present the strongest asylum case possible, but still came up short. And now you're grappling with the prospect of being sent back to your country where you'll be in harm's way. And you're probably wondering whether you'll have to give up the life that you've dreamed of building here in the United States. It's devastating. But take heart, you may still be able to win your case. This is because judges, well, sometimes they make mistakes, and there is a process for remedying them. A process to give your case a second look. And if the judge messed up and you in fact do deserve asylum, to ensure that you receive the protection that you deserve. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how the process of appealing a negative decision by the immigration judge works in your asylum case. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're considering applying, and I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. All right, if you don't have success in your asylum case in immigration court and the judge issues an order of deportation, well, all hope is not lost. You definitely do not have to leave the country right away. If you think the judge is wrong, well, you could ask a higher up body to review the negative decision. And you do this through an appeal to an entity within the US Department of Justice that is called the Board of Immigration Appeals, and which is known as the BIA for its initials. Now, this is very important. You need to file your notice of appeal with the BIA within 30 days of the issuance of the immigration judge's decision. If you don't file an appeal in time, then yes, you could actually be forced to leave the country, and you could even be detained before ICE, the agency that handles deportations, puts you on a plane. So listen, you need to act quickly upon getting the deportation order from the judge. 30 days may sound like a lot of time, but I promise you it's going to fly by. You know, it takes some time to properly put together the notice of appeal, which we'll talk about in detail in just a second. And you do not want to wait until the last minute to get this submitted. So I urge you to talk to an asylum lawyer right away after getting the decision from the judge. You need to put your appeal in motion as soon as possible. Okay, so let's talk about how you appeal and go over what happens after you've appealed. So how do you make an appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals? Well, the process begins by filing Form EOIR 26, where you outline the basis for your challenge. This form is called Notice of Appeal from a Decision of an Immigration Judge, and you can get it on the website of the Department of Justice, which looks like this. You must submit this form and a copy of the immigration judge's decision, and then either the filing fee or a fee waiver to the BIA within 30 days of the decision. And at present, the filing fee for appealing an immigration judge's decision is $110. So what do you have to actually do in terms of filling out this form? Well, most of it is pretty straightforward, but I do want to draw your attention to the top of page 2 at number 6. It says, state in detail the reasons for this appeal. Please refer to the general instructions at item F for further guidance. You are not limited to the space provided below. Use more sheets of paper if necessary. Write your names and A numbers on every sheet. So what does this mean? Well, you're asked to explain what it is that you think the judge got wrong in your case. You don't have to be super detailed here. Just a few sentences is probably enough, as long as you identify something that could, if true, conceivably constitute a legal error by the judge. So for example, if you testified about 4 incidents of past harm, and then the judge only discussed 2 of them in her decision and concluded that you did not suffer past persecution, well, this could be a legal error. Why? Because the judge needs to consider all past harm that could be relevant. And if they leave out incidents of harm, then, well, they're not accurately assessing your case. And this, well, it could be a reason for the BIA to send the case back to the judge. Again, you don't have to be super detailed, and you don't really need to cite case law or anything like that at this stage, but you do need to try to explain how the judge messed up. And if you leave this section blank, or if you just give some conclusory statement like, hey, the judge was mean and unfair to me, without explaining how or what it was that was unfair, well, the BIA could reject your appeal entirely. All right, if you're filing on your own, then you should send your appeal packet to the BIA by post, by mail. But if you have a lawyer and your case is a so-called electronic case, well then your lawyer may be able to file the appeal online. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, after you file the appeal, you'll receive a receipt notice indicating that the appeal is pending. Note that, crucially, if you have a work permit based on your pending asylum case, you can keep working legally, and you can even renew your work permit while your BIA appeal is pending. Okay, at some point, the BIA will send you a transcript and a briefing schedule for submitting a detailed legal brief supporting your case. Now, this could be a few months after you file the appeal, but it could take much longer. In fact, it could even be multiple years. Now, you'll want to submit detailed arguments in writing before the deadline set by the BIA. And this is your chance to really explain and make the strongest arguments possible about why the judge messed up and why you should win asylum. And I've got to be straight with you. You need a lawyer to do this for you. This stuff is complicated, and you're doing yourself a major disservice if you don't hire an experienced asylum lawyer for this. Okay, the prosecutor from the government can file a legal brief as well, and at some point after the briefing deadline, well, the BIA will review everything and make a decision. It's unfortunately impossible to predict how long you might have to wait between the briefing deadline and actually getting a decision. Eventually, the BIA will either overturn the immigration judge's decision and remand the case, or uphold it, making the decision final. So what does it mean to remand the case? It means the BIA will send the case back to the immigration judge with instructions about what the judge must do in assessing the case. The BIA can effectively tell the judge to grant you asylum, or it can make the judge do further analysis, but not necessarily dictate the outcome. This is to say, the fact that the BIA sends a case back to the judge does not necessarily mean that you're going to be granted asylum. If you fail to convince the BIA, meaning that they agree with the judge's decision, well, then you can make yet another appeal, this time to a federal court of appeals. Winning an appeal at the BIA can be tough, but legal assistance can significantly impact your chances for success. You should contact an asylum lawyer right away after receiving a negative decision from an immigration judge on your asylum case in immigration court. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.